So in this video, we're going to talk about how you prepare a solution and how you dilute a solution. The way you can make a solution is either if you have some of the solid compound or if you have a solution that has a higher concentration that you can dilute. So let's start with how would I prepare 100 milliliters of 0.25 molar sodium phosphate if I have some solid sodium phosphate around. Okay, so somewhere on the counter, in my lab, I can find some sodium phosphate solid. So hopefully you've seen this before. It's called a volumetric flask. It's called volumetric because it's designed to hold only one volume of liquid. Okay, and this one is a 100 milliliter volumetric flask. And you notice there's a line right there. And if we were to fill this up, so the bottom of the meniscus just hits that line, we'd have exactly 100 milliliters. Okay, so let's figure out how much solid we need to put in there. And we're going to do that by using our molarity formula, right? So molarity is moles over liters. So moles equals molarity times liters. So we've got 0.25 molar. And we've got 0.1 liter. So that means we have 0.0250 moles of the sodium phosphate. So that's how many moles we need to put in there. But of course we can't measure out moles. So let's go ahead and change moles to grams. Okay, we use the molar mass of this, which I will calculate for you because I'm nice like that. Okay, 163.94. So this comes out to be 4.10 grams of sodium phosphate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it into my flask. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add water until the bottom of the meniscus is just at that line. Okay, so you place 4.10 grams of sodium phosphate solid into the flask, and then you fill it with water to the line. Don't say you're going to add 100 milliliters of water, because then you'll end up with too much solution and it'll be too dilute. You have to say that you're going to fill it with water to the line. Okay, so what now around, but I do have some sodium phosphate that has a higher concentration. Does it make sense that if I want 0.25 molar and I have 0.7 molar, all I have to do is add some water and I can make it more dilute? So simple idea, but how much water do I add? How much of the original more concentrated solution do I start with, and how much water do I add? Well, I think you've seen this formula before. We call it the dilution formula. I know we used it when we talked about KSP. So M1V1 equals M2V2. Okay, so the molarity, I'm going to say 0.250 molar times, now it doesn't matter what units I use for volume as long as it's the same on both sides. So times 100 equals the concentration I have times V2. So if I do out that fancy-dancy math, I get 35.7 milliliters, okay, and this is of the 0.7 molar, okay, the more concentrated. So, well, what does this mean? Well, it means that I take this, I put it into the flask, and I fill it up with water until I get to the line. Okay, so I take this volume of the more concentrated solution, put it into my flask, and then just fill it up with water. So that's how you prepare a solution from a solid, and how you get a solution that you want from a dilution.